The restaurant shimmered with an almost ethereal glow, a testament to the opulence that defined every inch of its space. The white tablecloths were pristine, each one meticulously ironed to perfection, and the glasses sparkled as if they had been polished by the hands of angels. It was a place where every detail was attended to with the utmost care, creating an atmosphere that was both luxurious and inviting. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling like glittering jewels, casting rainbows on the white linen below. The light reflections danced across the room, creating a mesmerizing display that captivated the eyes of all who entered. Each chandelier was a masterpiece in its own right, a symbol of the wealth and sophistication that permeated the dining room. A hush fell over the room as diners savored gourmet meals, each dish a work of culinary art served on gleaming silver platters. The fine dining experience was unparalleled, with every bite offering a symphony of flavors that delighted the palate. Guests closed their eyes in appreciation, allowing themselves to be transported by the exquisite tastes and aromas that filled the air. This was a place for the elite, where money spoke in hushed tones and silence whispered of untold fortunes. The patrons were the crème de la crème of society, each one exuding an air of confidence and sophistication. The luxurious ambiance was a reflection of their status, a testament to the wealth and power that they wielded with ease. The air itself seemed thick with wealth, each breath a taste of privilege. The atmosphere was one of understated elegance, where every detail, from the soft lighting to the plush seating, was designed to cater to the desires of the affluent. It was a place where the rich and powerful came to see and be seen, to indulge in the finer things in life. Among them sat a woman draped in diamonds, her face a mask of haughty indifference. Her elegant dress clung to her figure, a testament to the designer's skill and the wealth that allowed her to afford such luxury. She was a vision of opulence, a living embodiment of the high society that frequented the restaurant. Her fingers, weighed down by glittering rings, tapped impatiently on the table. Each tap was a silent command, a reminder of her status and the power she wielded. The rings themselves were works of art, each one a testament to the wealth that she possessed. They sparkled in the light, drawing the eyes of those around her and adding to her aura of untouchable elegance. She exuded an air of entitlement, a queen surveying her domain. Her regal demeanor was unmistakable, a clear indication of her place in the social hierarchy. She looked around the restaurant with a critical eye, taking in every detail and silently judging those who did not meet her exacting standards. It was clear that she considered herself above the rest, a cut above the ordinary. Beside her sat a man, his head bowed, his demeanor meek. The contrast between them was stark, a visual representation of the power dynamics at play. He seemed almost invisible beside her, a shadow in her radiant light. His presence was a reminder of the sacrifices and compromises that often accompanied wealth and power, a silent testament to the complexities of their relationship.
"This soup is cold,"
the woman declared, her voice cutting through the hushed atmosphere like a shard of ice. The restaurant, known for its serene ambiance and exquisite cuisine, was not accustomed to such disruptions. The other diners, who had been enjoying their meals in peace, suddenly found their attention drawn to the commotion at the corner table. Her eyes, two chips of blue ice, bored into the waiter standing patiently beside her. They were eyes that had seen much and tolerated little, eyes that demanded perfection and brooked no excuses. The waiter, a young man in his early 20s, felt the weight of her gaze but did not flinch. He remained silent, his face carefully blank as she continued her tirade. Years of training had taught him to maintain his composure in the face of such adversity. He knew that any reaction, however slight, could escalate the situation further. So he stood there, a picture of calm, while the storm raged around him.
"And this wine, it's utterly undrinkable."
Her voice rose in volume, drawing stares from nearby diners. The once quiet restaurant was now filled with the echoes of her complaints. Some diners exchanged glances, their eyebrows raised in silent communication. Others whispered to their companions, speculating about the woman's background and the reasons for her dissatisfaction. They watched with a mixture of amusement and disdain, accustomed to such displays of wealth and its accompanying arrogance. In a place where the elite often dined, such scenes were not entirely uncommon. Yet, each outburst was a reminder of the thin veneer of civility that often masked deeper frustrations and insecurities. The waiter absorbed her insults with stoic silence. He had encountered many such customers in his career, each one a test of his patience and professionalism. He knew that responding in kind would only serve to validate her behavior. Instead, he chose to rise above it, maintaining his dignity in the face of her vitriol. He stood straight, his gaze steady, a quiet strength radiating from him. His posture was a testament to his resilience, a silent declaration that he would not be broken by her words. The other diners, observing the scene, couldn't help but admire his fortitude. He did not speak, but his very presence seemed to reproach the woman's outburst. In the silence that followed her tirade, his calm demeanor spoke volumes. It was a reminder that true strength lies not in loud declarations, but in quiet endurance. The woman, sensing the shift in the room's atmosphere, paused. For a moment it seemed as though she might reconsider her approach, but then, with a final huff, she turned away, leaving the waiter to continue his duties with the same unwavering composure. Whispers rippled through the restaurant. The low hum of conversation was suddenly punctuated by a sharp, discordant note. Patrons leaned in closer to their companions, their voices dropping to hushed tones as they exchanged curious glances. The air was thick with speculation, each whisper adding to the growing tension. Who was this woman to behave so poorly? The question hung in the air, unspoken yet palpable. Faces turned towards the source of the disturbance, eyes widening in disbelief. The woman, seated at a prime table in the center of the room, seemed to revel in the attention. Her actions were a stark contrast to the otherwise serene ambiance of the restaurant. And why did the waiter endure such disrespect? The young man, dressed impeccably in his uniform, moved with a grace that belied the stress etched on his face. He approached the table with a forced smile, his hands steady despite the barrage of insults being hurled at him. It was clear that this was not the first time he had encountered such a customer, yet the weight of the moment seemed to press down on him. The air crackled with tension, the silence between the woman and the waiter deafening. It was as if the entire restaurant held its breath, waiting for the next move. The woman's eyes bore into the waiter, her gaze a mixture of disdain and challenge. The waiter, in contrast, stood tall and composed, his silence a testament to his inner strength. The woman, fueled by her own sense of superiority, seemed oblivious to the atmosphere she created. Her every gesture, every word, was laced with an arrogance that set her apart from the other diners. She acted as if the world revolved around her and everyone else was merely an inconvenience. Her laughter, sharp and mocking, cut through the room like a knife. She continued to berate the waiter, her voice dripping with venom. Each insult was delivered with precision, aimed to wound and humiliate. Her words echoed in the silence, a stark reminder of the power dynamics at play. The waiter, however, did not flinch. He stood his ground, absorbing the verbal onslaught with a stoic calm that only seemed to infuriate her further. Her words were meant to wound, to assert her dominance, to remind everyone of her place above the common folk. She seemed to take pleasure in the discomfort of those around her, her eyes gleaming with a cruel satisfaction. The other patrons watched in a mixture of horror and fascination, unable to look away from the unfolding drama. The waiter, however, seemed unfazed by her insults. His composure was a stark contrast to the woman's fury. He moved with a quiet dignity, his actions deliberate and measured. It was clear that he had faced such situations before and had learned to rise above them. His calm demeanor only served to highlight the pettiness of the woman's behavior. He remained calm, his face an unreadable mask. Behind his eyes there was a depth of experience, a resilience that spoke of countless encounters with difficult customers. His silence was not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It was a choice, a refusal to be dragged down to the level of the woman's pettiness. His silence was more powerful than any retort. It was a statement, a declaration of his self-worth. In the face of her cruelty, he chose to remain dignified, to hold on to his sense of self. The other patrons, sensing the gravity of the moment, watched in respectful silence. They recognized the strength it took to remain calm in the face of such adversity. It spoke of dignity, of self-respect, of a strength that lay beyond the reach of her petty cruelty. The waiter's calm presence was a beacon of hope, a reminder that dignity and respect could prevail even in the most trying of circumstances. As the woman's tirade continued, the waiter's silence became a powerful counterpoint, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Finally, the woman's anger seemed to sputter. She threw down her napkin, her chest heaving with indignation.
Get me the manager. I will not be treated with such disrespect.
The waiter met her gaze, his own unwavering. For a moment their eyes locked, a silent battle of wills playing out in the space between them. Then, slowly, a smile spread across the waiter's face. It was a small smile, almost imperceptible, but it held a hint of something else, something that sent a chill down the woman's spine.
Madam, there's no need for that. I will attend to you myself.
A ripple of confusion spread through the restaurant. Why was the waiter addressing this woman with such deference? And why did his words seem to carry an unspoken weight? The woman, however, was too caught up in her own indignation to notice the subtle shift in the atmosphere.
See to it that you do. I expect better from an establishment like this.
The waiter simply nodded, his smile widening slightly. He turned and walked away, his steps measured and calm. As he did so, a hush fell over the restaurant once more, a hush thick with anticipation. As the waiter disappeared into the kitchen, the woman's indignation began to wane, replaced by a gnawing curiosity. She glanced around the restaurant, noting the hushed conversations and furtive glances. What was it about this man that commanded such respect? The answer came swiftly. A young girl, no more than 12, approached the woman, her eyes wide with admiration. "Excuse me, ma'am," she began, her voice trembling slightly. "Do you know who that man is?" The woman shook her head, her curiosity piqued. The girl continued, her words tumbling out in a rush. "He's not just a waiter, he used to be a renowned chef, one of the best in the country. But he lost everything when his restaurant burned down. Now he works here to support his family." The woman's gaze shifted to the kitchen doors, her heart heavy with a newfound respect. She had judged him so quickly, so harshly, without knowing his story. She felt a pang of guilt, a realization that her own values and the society she lived in were flawed, built on superficial judgments and material wealth. As the waiter returned with her meal, she met his steady gaze, her eyes softening. "Thank you," she said, her voice sincere. "And I'm sorry." The waiter nodded, his smile warm and understanding. "It's all right," he replied. "We all have our struggles." The woman watched him walk away, a sense of wonder and humility washing over her. In that moment, she knew she had been given a gift, a chance to see the world through different eyes, to question her own beliefs, and to strive for something greater. The restaurant buzzed with quiet conversation once more, but the woman's heart was forever changed, touched by the simple, unassuming grace of a man who had faced adversity with dignity and strength. And so the gilded cage of her perceptions began to crumble, revealing a world rich with complexity, struggle, and beauty. As the evening wore on, the woman's thoughts lingered on the waiter's story. She couldn't shake the feeling that she needed to do something, to make a difference. The next morning, she returned to the restaurant, her resolve firm. She approached the manager, explaining her desire to help the waiter rebuild his life. The manager, moved by her sincerity, agreed to arrange a meeting. Later that day, the woman and the waiter sat across from each other, the air thick with unspoken emotions. "I want to help you," she began, her voice steady, "to rebuild your restaurant, to give you back what you lost." The waiter's eyes widened in surprise, his expression a mix of hope and disbelief. "Why would you do that?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Because I judged you unfairly," she replied, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "And because you deserve a second chance." The days that followed were a whirlwind of activity. The woman used her connections and resources to secure a new location for the restaurant, while the waiter poured his heart and soul into designing the menu and training the staff. Their collaboration was a testament to the power of empathy and redemption, a journey that transformed them both. On the grand opening night, the restaurant buzzed with excitement. The woman stood by the waiter's side, her heart swelling with pride as he greeted the guests with a humble smile. The once gilded cage of her perceptions had shattered completely, replaced by a profound understanding of the human spirit's resilience and capacity for change. As the evening drew to a close, the waiter turned to the woman, his eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you," he said, his voice choked with emotion, "for believing in me." The woman smiled, her heart full. "We all have our struggles," she echoed his earlier words, "but together we can overcome them." And so, their lives intertwined, they embarked on a new chapter, one of hope, compassion, and endless possibilities. The restaurant became a beacon of second chances, a place where people from all walks of life could find solace, support, and a sense of belonging. In the end, it wasn't just the waiter who had been given a second chance. The woman, too, had found a new purpose, a deeper connection to the world around her. And as they looked toward the future, they knew that their journey had only just begun. As the restaurant flourished, the bond between the woman and the waiter grew stronger. They shared stories, dreams, and plans for the future. One evening, as they sat in the quiet, dimly lit restaurant after closing, the waiter seemed unusually pensive. The woman noticed the change in his demeanor and gently asked, "Is everything all right?" He took a deep breath, his eyes reflecting a storm of emotions. "There's something I need to tell you," he began, his voice trembling slightly. "Something about my past that I've kept hidden for too long." The woman listened intently, her heart pounding in anticipation. The waiter's gaze was steady but heavy with the weight of his secret. "Years ago, before I lost my restaurant, I was involved in something that still haunts me," he confessed. "I was part of a group that made some terrible choices that hurt a lot of people. I didn't agree with everything they did, but I stayed silent out of fear and loyalty." He paused, struggling to find the right words. "One night there was an incident. A fire broke out in a building and people got hurt. I wasn't directly responsible, but my silence made me complicit. I couldn't live with the guilt, so I left everything behind, hoping to start over." The woman felt a wave of shock and empathy wash over her. She reached out, placing a comforting hand on his. "Thank you for telling me," she said softly. "It must have been incredibly difficult to carry that burden alone." The waiter nodded, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I've spent years trying to atone for my mistakes, but the past always finds a way to catch up. Meeting you and rebuilding this restaurant gave me a second chance, but I couldn't move forward without being honest with you." The woman squeezed his hand, her voice filled with compassion. "We all have our pasts, our mistakes. What matters is what we do with the present. You've shown incredible strength and resilience. Your journey of redemption is far from over, and I'm here to support you every step of the way." The waiter's expression softened, a mixture of relief and gratitude. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice breaking, "for understanding, for giving me hope." As they sat in silence, the weight of the revelation settled between them, but it also brought a sense of liberation. The truth had been spoken, and with it came the possibility of true healing and forgiveness. In that moment, they both realized that their journey wasn't just about rebuilding a restaurant. It was about rebuilding lives, finding redemption, and embracing the power of second chances. The woman and the waiter looked at each other, their hearts full of hope. The revelation had changed everything, but it had also brought them closer, forging an unbreakable bond. And as they faced the future together, they knew that their shared journey of redemption and compassion would continue to inspire and transform not only their lives, but also the lives of those around them. Their story was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that no matter how dark the past, the light of hope and redemption could always shine through. The revelation had cast a shadow, but it also illuminated a path forward. The woman, moved by the waiter's vulnerability and the weight of his past, felt a deep sense of purpose awaken within her. She knew that her journey wasn't just about her own redemption, but about helping the waiter achieve his dreams as well. The days that followed were filled with renewed energy and determination. The woman took it upon herself to find ways to make amends for her past behavior. She reached out to those she had wronged, offering heartfelt apologies and seeking to make things right. Each act of reconciliation was a step towards healing, not just for her, but for everyone involved. Meanwhile, the waiter found himself buoyed by the woman's unwavering support. He began to open up more about his dreams and aspirations, sharing his vision for the restaurant and beyond. The woman listened intently, her heart swelling with a desire to see his dreams come true. Together, they embarked on a journey of transformation. They revamped the restaurant, infusing it with new ideas and a spirit of inclusivity. They started community programs, offering free meals to those in need, and hosting culinary workshops to empower budding chefs. The restaurant became a beacon of hope and a symbol of second chances. One evening, as they stood side by side in the bustling restaurant, the waiter turned to the woman, his eyes filled with gratitude. "I don't know how to thank you," he said, his voice choked with emotion. "You've given me more than I ever dared to dream." The woman smiled, her eyes shining with tears. "You've given me a chance to make amends and to be part of something truly special. Together, we've created more than just a restaurant. We've built a community, a place where people can find hope and redemption." As the music swelled, the camera panned out, capturing the warmth and vibrancy of the restaurant. The faces of the diners reflected the joy and sense of belonging that permeated the space. The woman and the waiter stood at the heart of it all, their bond stronger than ever. Their story was a testament to the power of compassion, forgiveness, and the relentless pursuit of dreams. It was a reminder that no matter the weight of the past, the present held the promise of redemption and the future, the possibility of endless new beginnings. And so, as they continued their journey, they knew that their shared mission was far from over. They would keep striving, keep dreaming, and keep believing in the transformative power of love and kindness. Together they had found redemption, and with it, the courage to face whatever lay ahead. Their story was a beacon of hope, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It reminded us all that no matter how dark the past, the light of hope and redemption could always shine through, illuminating the path to a brighter, more compassionate future. As dawn broke over the city, the first rays of sunlight filtered through the windows of the restaurant, casting a golden glow on the bustling preparations inside. The woman and the waiter stood side by side, ready to embark on a new chapter in their lives. They had come a long way from their initial meeting, each learning invaluable lessons from the other. The woman, once consumed by guilt and regret, had found a renewed sense of purpose. She had discovered that redemption was not a solitary journey but one that could be enriched by helping others along the way. Her heart, once heavy with remorse, now brimmed with compassion and hope. The waiter, who had long harbored dreams of transforming the restaurant, saw those dreams taking shape before his very eyes. With the woman's unwavering support, he had found the courage to believe in himself and his vision. The restaurant had become more than just a place to eat. It was a sanctuary where people could find solace, community, and a second chance. Together, they had created something truly special. The restaurant was now a vibrant hub of activity, a place where stories of redemption and transformation unfolded every day. The community programs they had initiated were thriving, and the culinary workshops had inspired a new generation of aspiring chefs. As they stood in the midst of the bustling restaurant, the woman turned to the waiter, her eyes reflecting the gratitude and admiration she felt. "We've come a long way," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "But this is just the beginning." The waiter nodded, a smile spreading across his face. "I couldn't have done it without you," he replied. "You've taught me that dreams can become reality with a little faith and a lot of hard work." The camera panned out, capturing the lively atmosphere of the restaurant and the sense of unity that permeated the space. The faces of the diners, the clinking of glasses, and the laughter that filled the air all spoke of a community that had found hope and redemption. The woman and the waiter stood at the heart of it all, their bond stronger than ever. Their journey, once marked by uncertainty and doubt, had led them to a place of newfound strength and resilience. They had learned that the past, no matter how burdensome, could be a stepping stone to a brighter future. As the music swelled, the scene transitioned to a montage of moments. The woman and the waiter working together, the smiles of the diners, the joyful interactions in the community programs, and the budding chefs honing their skills in the culinary workshops. Their story was a testament to the transformative power of love, kindness, and the relentless pursuit of dreams. It was a reminder that no matter the challenges, the human spirit could rise above and create something beautiful. And so, as they continued their journey, the woman and the waiter knew that their mission was far from over. They would keep striving, keep dreaming, and keep believing in the endless possibilities that lay ahead. Together, they had found a new beginning, and with it, the courage to embrace whatever the future held. Their story, a beacon of hope, serves as an inspiration to us all. It reminds us that no matter how dark the past, the light of a new beginning can always shine through, illuminating the path to a brighter, more